Well, stateside, it's final push for Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, who continue to make their case to voters ahead of Election Day tomorrow. Now, we know more than 73 million Americans have already cast their votes. This, according to Election Lab at the University of Florida. Both candidates so busy with just like today left in the campaign as they try to lock down support in those key battleground states. Joining us now for more analysis is John Micek. He's a Micek politics editor at masslive.com. John, good to talk to you today. We turn to you frequently and we're talking U.S. politics. So this is it. We're down to the final 24 hours of campaigning. Really, what is the state of play right now?
Nick, it's all about Pennsylvania this morning. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are going to be wrapping up their campaigns in the Keystone State today. Pennsylvania with 19 electoral votes in the U.S. system, the Electoral College system. That is, that there's no path to the White House that doesn't run through Pennsylvania. We've seen them in the state constantly. Really, the race began there in a lot of ways and it's going to end there. This is the state that determined the White House for Joe Biden in 2020. Joe Biden flipped it back from Donald Trump, who carried in 2016. So it's one state who may well determine the fate for the rest of the nation today.
Exactly. And of course, John, it is remarkable just how diverse the views are across Pennsylvania, really depending on whether you're in the city or the suburbs, et cetera. But, we've also seen both of them campaigning in North Carolina, both of them campaigning in Michigan, clearly Pennsylvania. The series of states, the reality seems to be on this side of the border looking down is that it's going to be like a few thousand people in each of these different states that ultimately are going to really decide the outcome of tomorrow's campaign or election.
That's exactly right. It's a couple 100,000 people across 7 or 8 states. North Carolina is fascinating. That is a state that Democrats have not won, I think, since 2008, and that race is within the margin of error right now. We've seen Kamala Harris devote quite a lot of resources to North Carolina. She's campaigned there hard. Of course, the state was hard hit by a hurricane a few weeks back. So that really put North Carolina at the center of the national conversation. Donald Trump campaigning in North Carolina as well, engaging, frankly, in a bit of misinformation about federal relief that was available to the state, which really thrust into the center of the national dialogue. It's other states too, Nick, like Arizona and Nevada, that are going to be in play as well. And so it's really interesting it's going to be really interesting to watch this map on Tuesday and how that unfolds.
And John, I'm thinking about how interesting your job must be as the politics editor, the responses you see, the feeling you get from Americans, or at least the audience that you're serving in particular here. Could you sort of describe, is it as divided as it, again, seems from an outside observer's perspective in the U.S.?
Certainly, Nick, this is a race, again, that's within the margin of it. It's tied. People have their viewpoints. They are where they are in this race. But when you get out there and you talk to voters, as I have, some common themes emerge. They're concerned about the economy. They're concerned about healthcare. They're concerned about rising prices. The policy paths, obviously, they want to take to get there diverge dramatically. But there's a sort of commonality of issues that sort of emerge when you speak with voters. I was in battleground, Pennsylvania a couple of weeks ago. Voters there very energized, thinking about the economy, thinking about jobs, also thinking about reproductive rights. That is something that Kamala Harris has really honed in on in these last couple of weeks. Okay,
last quick question here. You are, again, the politics editor. Any predictions?
No. It's just going to be a long night on Tuesday, and somebody will win at the end of it, but we won't know for a couple of days.
That's a safe prediction. Somebody will win, and we'll find out when it's decided. John Micek, always appreciate the time. Politics editor at masslive.com. Good to see you, John. Take care.